there's this presumption that you could just feed data into a system and that system can use it. However, different categories of data, such as a calendar, the data list, or emergency alerts in the context of the REACH system, have different shapes to that data.
Scheduling data, they just work differently. They are stored very differently than tabular data. Tabular data is a simple table. It's easier to deal with. Emergency alerts, they are just announcements. So they're much simpler, but they are really different.
As such, each of those mechanisms requires specific software that knows how and understands input and outputs of that data. That's why we have separate kinds of integrations with sort of separate processes or mechanisms. With data integrations, there's always a question of how we get the data from the source system into the REACH system. And there tends to be two different models for doing that. One is a polling mechanism whereby the REACH system queries the data source. And there's also a push model whereby the data is pushed from the source to REACH. Which mechanism is used depends on the capabilities of the source system, as well as the requirements for real-time or near real-time data. From a polling mechanism perspective, the REACH system in this case is reaching out to the source system to pull the data. In this case, the source system has to have a publicly exposed API of some kind or some mechanism by which REACH can communicate with it over the internet. In this case, we support things like XML or SOAP-based APIs, as well as REST-based APIs. Push mechanisms, on the other hand, are much closer to real-time or near real-time mechanisms whereby when the data changes in the source system, it's pushed into the REACH platform. Using a model like that, we can get data onto the screen much more quickly. Both of these mechanisms can support a multitude of different file formats and transport mechanisms. In the case of push model, we support FTP transport, whereby the source system pushes the data to us via an FTP transfer, as well as RESTful APIs, whereby the source system can send data to us via a REST call to our API. Magneto is REACH's legacy ETL platform. An ETL platform stands for Extract, Transform, and Load, and is a software product designed to acquire data, transform it, or manipulate it into a format that's recognizable by the REACH systems, and then put it into our database.
Throughout the years, we've had many clients, probably hundreds by now, who wanted to import scheduling data and the simple tabular structured data into our system.
Magneto, being our first generation product, was built in-house as a proprietary solution. Unfortunately, it lacks scalability as well as just some of the standardization that you get when you use a product like Clover.
This tool has been great for us because it's a much more reliable and scalable solution than the one we built from scratch. The maintenance is much easier and it's much more flexible. We can modify the data for our clients on a per client basis very quickly.
We really felt that by adopting Clover, we could tap into a broader community of support, broader community of knowledge, developers, so on and so forth, as well as standardize on a product. One question we get asked is, what is the Datalist application? The Datalist application you can think of as kind of a simple Excel for the cloud. It stores your data in a tabular format, similar to what you would experience in Excel on your desktop or a similar program. Once the data is in the Datalist application, we can then use that data and repurpose it on the digital signage and render it in a multitude of different ways. For example, we could render it into a menu board or in a graph indicating some sort of key performance indicator. Emergency alert providers typically publish RSS or CAP feeds, which represent the emergency alert stream. The REACH system is capable of polling those sources on a very rapid basis to identify when an emergency event is occurring. Once our system identifies that an emergency is happening or that some urgent information needs to be communicated to the digital signage, it broadcasts that message down to the players. The players then insert the elements such as the title of the event or the description of the event into a template, which is then presented to the consumer.